just about the man of summer. What a summer this bloke's had. Stephen Smith, legendary Australian cricketer, legendary Australian sportsman. He's standing by. G'day, Steve.
Hey guys, how are you?
Haven't you got the hot hand at the moment?
Feeling good. It's been nice to score a few runs. So, all going well.
What about that innings the other night, mate? Did you sense you're in the mood for one of those sort of knocks?
Not really. After my first 10 balls, I couldn't spell bat. So, it took a while to get into my work. It was pretty tricky early with the wicket. It was kind of stopping quite a bit, and I was probably trying to hit the ball a bit too hard as well. And then, I guess when I probably got to about 20-odd, something sort of just clicked, and I started to time the ball a lot better and hit a few over the fence. So, it was nice to contribute to a Sixers win.
Steve, it's been a remarkable month for you and just the champion you are. Maybe late last year, people are sort of saying, oh, Steve Smith, where's he at? You can't write the champions off, and you've well and truly shown us that. But part of that month has been you've got that C back in the brackets, the captaincy of Australia, the Sri Lanka tour. Can you take us into that conversation? How did that happen, and how did it make you feel at the time?
I mean, over the last 4 years, I think, or 3 years, I've stood in whenever Paddy hasn't played, so it's really nothing new. It's kind of just been when Paddy's not been there, I've just taken over. So, it was pretty much as simple as that. Nothing really further than that.
How grueling was the summer that we just had? Obviously, a lot of tests, some high-quality test matches, lots of drama, lots of intrigue. How much time did you need, or have you felt like you've had enough time to recuperate the mind and body heading into another busy period?
Yeah, it was a big summer. 5 test matches, in a Border Gavaskar trophy. It takes a lot out of you. So, I had a couple of quiet days before the Big Bash game the other day. Didn't have a hit before the game at all. I sort of just went in, hit 5 or 10 balls before the start of play, and came out and played. But it was nice to have a couple of days just to relax and try and refresh my mind a bit. I'm still pretty tired, but we've got a couple of games left at Big Bash, and then I head off to Dubai for a training camp and then Sri Lanka. So, I'll be fine.
Chatting with Steve Smith. Steve, we all saw the Konstas debut. You couldn't stop watching it. Can you take us into the players' shed for that? And are you knocking each other? Are you saying, what are we watching here? Like, what was it like amongst the players as he was just coming up with this cavalier type of game?
Well, I was up in the viewing room at the MCG waiting to bat. I was obviously Marnus was in next, and then I was after him. So I was pretty focused, watching every ball, and I think my heart skipped a beat on a few occasions with a couple of those shots. It wasn't something that I'm too accustomed to in the Test game, particularly from an opening batter. But he was good. In fact, both our debutants throughout the series were great. Him and Slug Webster did tremendous jobs and helped us in the end to win that series. So, I think both of those players that debuted have really bright futures.
Just going back to Konstas and the remarkable way he attacked his, maiden effort when it comes to playing cricket. What's the backstory there? Was that something that he just decided to do? In hindsight, we talk about, Boomer trying to put him off his game. Was it a directive from the coaching staff? Why did that style of game come out, Steve?
I'm not sure. When I've seen him play in Shield cricket, he sort of hasn't played that way. He's actually knuckled down, I suppose, and played, I guess, more traditional kind of style of play. But he came in straight from the Big Bash where he was playing a few of those shots, and maybe he was still in Big Bash mode. But whatever he did in that first innings at the MCG, it worked. That ball was going around corners and was pretty tricky facing Boomer, and he certainly put him under pressure the way he was playing. So, a lot of credit to him to come out and play with that kind of confidence and score the runs that he did on that occasion.
You mentioned Big Bash mode. Is there you've played obviously so much cricket, but is there still an adjustment in terms of the way you bat or your mindset heading in from Big Bash to Test?
Yeah, I think these days you're sort of blending the formats together quite often. So for me, it doesn't take long to sort of shift between formats. I just have the different gears that I need to go up and down in, and obviously opening the batting in T20 cricket, you're playing quite aggressively in that power play, and then when the 5 go out, you sort of adapt from there. So, it was nice to start well the other night, and hopefully I can have some more impact in the next 2 games for the Sixers as well.
We hear about the nervous 90s. You found yourself in the nervous 30s, which is quite an unusual thing to say, but you're 9,999 runs, and the 10,000 is coming, and you're going to join the likes of Border, Ponting, War. Steve Smith, as a kid, you dreamed to wear the baggy green and play for Australia. You're that close to having 10,000 runs for your country at test level. Does that sink in at all right now?
I mean, it's pretty special. I'd love to tick it off. The first day in Gaul would be good. It would have been great to have been able to do it in Sydney in front of all my friends and family, but joining a pretty elite group there, I suppose. So, no, look, as a kid, never would have dreamt of that. I dreamt to play cricket for Australia and have a career, I suppose, playing for Australia. But to have been able to get to this mark, it's a dream come true, I suppose, in a way. But I mean, I don't read too much into stats and stuff, but like 10,000's a bit of a different beast, I suppose.
Just on that, can you take us in, and only you can do this, take us into the mind inside that Steve Smith helmet. How conscious were you of that particular milestone? Was it hard to get around to knowing, okay, I've got 5 runs to go, okay, I've got 3 runs to go? Was that on your mind? Yeah,
it probably was, to be honest. Normally I sort of don't buy into any of that stuff, but pre-game I was doing lots of media and all those kind of things because I was approaching that mark. And, I knew I needed 38, and all I could actually picture trying to sleep at night was the back of Josh Hazelwood's shirt, and he's number 38.
Oh, really?
So it's strange like that, isn't it? So, it was probably playing on my mind more than any other game that I've played, to be honest. So
wow.
That was a bit of a shame, but look, it is what it is. Fortunately, we were able to win that game in the end, so it didn't really matter. But we'll keep moving forward.
Did you get a good night's sleep, mate, or were you having nightmares?
No, I had a horrific week of sleep. It wasn't good at all.
There's obviously, over the last couple of years, plenty of conjecture around your future in terms of when and if you're gonna pull the pin. You've come out and said you want to play at least white ball cricket to 2028 Olympics in LA. What excites you about that prospect of being part of that Australian squad to take part in the Olympics?
I mean, I think it'd just be cool to play in the Olympics. Simple as that, really. You see the athletes go over there and play their various sports in the Olympics, and I always enjoy viewing it. So I think it'll be a cool one to be a part of. So we'll see how that's still a while away, but we'll see how that all pans out, I suppose.
Hey Steve, you're the athlete, and we all adore you, admire you, and we watch you, and we're the fans. We're the fans, and we get to watch you be the prolific run scorer you are, the great athlete you are. But when you're just like us, a fan, and you're outside of cricket, you're the fan of what? What's the sport or team that Steve Smith, the iconic Australian, has to watch? I can't miss this game, or I can't miss watching this person play or fight or do or golf or whatever it is. What are you when you're the fan? Yeah,
the Roosters. They're my rugby league team. I enjoy watching them wherever I am around the world. So, I think this year they've got some new players. Obviously, some of their older heads and experienced players are gone. So, looks like a bit of a redevelopment phase for them. But, I got the Chooks play every chance I get.
Mate, well, I'll tell you what, Trent Robinson, he's a sharp man. I don't know if you've had much to do with him, but one person you do need to avoid when it comes to motivational speeches is Matt McConaughey. If he tries to lasso you, Steve, stay away. Stay away. He got into the ear of Nick Kyrgios, that ended badly, so we need to avoid that. The Champions Trophy coming up, how are we placed for that?
Yeah, hopefully pretty good. We're obviously the world champions at the moment in one-day cricket, so now we've got a good squad going over there to Pakistan, and hopefully we can bring back another trophy.
Before that, obviously you mentioned you head to Sri Lanka, you'll captain the side, at least in that first test. It's such a interesting squad that's been picked. Like the batting order could be, and the bowling lineup could be anything. Any insight into what we're looking at in that first 11?
I'm unsure yet. I think the conditions will certainly play a part in selection, but we've got all bases covered. Some young kids that are going to get an opportunity and some exposure to those conditions. So it should be a really good tour.
Steve Smith, we've been very, very fortunate to have you on the SEN network. We appreciate that, and what you've been doing is unbelievable. The champion you are. Just to finish things off, if you can go back and relive one Roosters victory, just one last victory, you could go relive it, which one would that be?
The final in, was it 2018, 19, when they beat Melbourne Storm?
Oh, yeah.
I think that was a good game.
Cronk shoulder.
Was that the Keary show?
The Keary show.
That was the Cronk, Cronk shoulder, no good.
Keary dominated.
Steve Smith, you're a gem, mate, and you're back at your very best, which we all love. All the very best in Sri Lanka and beyond. We appreciate your time on the SEN network.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good day.
Steve Smith, geez, what a champion. 10,000 runs. 10,000 runs coming up. Adelaide Strikers, we didn't even get to that tomorrow night, so Adelaide is coming. Stevie Smith's on his way to take you on. Looking forward to that. The Sixers taking on the Adelaide Strikers. What a champion, Stephen Smith.